Hello, how's it going? My name is Brian with Kamangamoo Creations, and this game, a little how-to video, is how to play Die Fly. So it's very beginning. Everybody will start out with a fly swatter. So everybody gets one at the beginning, and then you deal out 5 more cards. So we've got 3 players here. Everybody has 6 cards to start out with. And let's just, for everybody's turn, all you do is you discard a card into one of the 2 discard piles. And so let's just say for example, for my turn, I'll just start off and I put a fly down and I draw a new card. So then it'd be their turn. They could do the same thing. They could choose to put it in this one, or let's say they just throw it down that one. And then they get a card as well. This goes around until you are stacking up the fly decks. So eventually, when there are enough flies, let's just have a few in there. Let's just have three flies are in there right now. And any time that you want to, you can do this out of turn. You can play one of these fly swatter cards. You lay it down and you say die fly, and then all those flies that are in that deck are now yours. You're going to put them into your kill pile. You discard any of the other cards that you don't need, and now you have a kill pile, and these are your points that will be collected throughout the game, and at the end of the game you score those points to see who wins. So whoever has the most flies wins. There are other cards as you're playing through. At any time that you are out of cards, you can always replenish your hand to have 6 cards. So I just drew another fly swatter. So now even though I just played that and got these, as the piles grow bigger, then I can be able to use another one on that. So these different cards that you can play, there is let's kind of run through these ones here. There's a bug zapper. Okay, this bug zapper, if I were to play this, I could steal a card from another player's hand. So out of their hand, I would randomly be able to draw a card from their hand and take it into my hand. Now, if it was a fly or a butterfly, then you would actually kill it, and you actually get to put it in your discard, in your kill pile. There is that butterfly that I talked about, and so this is one of the butterflies. If it is in the pile, and along with a bunch of other flies, but if you use a fly swatter on that pile that has a butterfly in it, you wouldn't want to hurt a beautiful butterfly. So it is actually worth negative 15 points. So you don't want to hurt the butterflies. You want to keep them safe. You do have a card that does save the butterflies. So you could use this the butterfly net. You could use this butterfly, and when you fly swatter the pile, you can use that butterfly to rescue that beautiful butterfly, save him, and you'll be able to keep those other cards. There is a dragonfly. So let's say there's a pile of cards here. And it's not that one because that wouldn't work. But there's a pile of cards. That doesn't work either. But there's a pile of cards here, and you use the dragonfly. So you just place that on the top, but you get to take the top fly off of the fly deck. And so you get to have that into your kill pile. There is a spider card. The spider, if you have it in your hand, so if you got the spider in your hand, you discard it, but you get to take 2 flies out of your hand and place them directly in your kill pile. So that spider just killed those 2 flies for you. So like I only have 3 cards right here, so I could draw back up to 6 at any time that you need it. So the frog card is pretty awesome. Let's just say that this person here had a frog. He discarded it into one of the 2 piles. He could then take a fly from my kill pile. And so you just like the little tongue of a frog goes through and takes that from out of mine. Now if you wanted to, you are more than welcome to play these cards face up in your kill pile so you can know which cards you want to go for, because the more different collections you have, the more of one type, you get more points. And so if you had these facing up, if they were to play that frog, they could be able to see which one they wanted. If they could see it, they could go and take that specific one and add it to their kill pile. But if my cards are just turned over face up, then it's just more of a random draw. So they would pick a random card out of my kill pile. There is the food card. You name a specific type of fly, and anybody that has that specific type will then give it to you. So if I said tie fly, because I'm looking around, and granted I wouldn't see their cards, but I see that they've got a tie fly here, there's a couple tie flies here, so they would give any of that type of fly, and I would be able to put that into my kill pile. There is the fly paper. So a fly paper, you place that, you play that card, and anybody that has a fly must give you one of their choice. So if this person played it, I would look through my hand and I'll give him the thigh fly, and he now has that for him. Now there's also a wonderful card, the poop. So when you play the poop, let's say that this person played it. Anybody else that is not play the poop then has to put a fly on top of that, because there is, flies love poop, so they want to hang out on there. So that adds a little bit of fun to it, because there's little flies that go on right on top right away. But right after, if there's a poop in one of the fly decks, if you use a fly swatter card and you say die fly and you kill that deck, then you got a couple things with the poop. Because fly swatting poop would just be gross. And so with that poop that's in there, you either have to complete a penalty or it's worth -7 points. So if you just want to take the -7 points, you don't want to worry about the penalty, you don't have to worry about that. But if you want to, at the beginning of the game, your group comes up with a penalty. You could run outside and scream something, or you could sing a song, or do a little dance, or eat something gross, or whatever you want. You guys, as a group, create that penalty. And whatever it is, if I fly swat and kill that deck, and there's a poop card in there, I would then need to complete the penalty. If you're with some boring friends and they don't like to complete the penalty, then it's just worth -7 points. But you do have a cool card that is the pooper scooper. So if you want to fly swatter a deck, take that deck for yours, but you don't want to do the penalty, you can use that pooper scooper to be able to clean up the poop, and you don't have to worry about anything with that. This is a fun game, takes about 15 minutes to play. You go through, and you go through the whole deck, and once the whole deck is gone and everybody's been collecting flies, then whoever runs out of cards first, so if I were to run out of cards first, then that game's just over. So it just ends that way. Everybody else that has cards in their hand, those are just discarded. So it's the first player that gets rid of their cards, it's just the game's over on that. You go through and count up your cards, you count up your flies, you separate the flies and the butterflies and the poop if you did get that -7, and have a running total. The points are really fun because they add up the more you have. So if you were to have all 7 different types of flies, let me flip these around this way for you. But if you have all 7 different types, you get an additional 40 points. But the more flies you have, the more points they're worth. So if I were to have multiple of these flies, they're squared every time that you have more cards. So these, having 3 of them, is 3 times 3. You get 9 points for these 3. Whereas these 2 are, 2 times 2, you get 4 points for it. And the individuals are just 1. But there are 14 of the tie flies. There's 13 of the fry flies. So being able to have, more of those, it can really rack up the points really fast. So it's a lot of fun to be able to have a little strategy, to be able to figure out, do I want to go for this? Do I not want to go for that? Do I want to set the poop down and make that deck not so desirable, or have a butterfly in there as well? So there's a lot of fun. It's super simple with family. If you watch some of the other videos, our 3-year-old plays it. And so we help him a little bit with it. But it's also been a lot of fun playing with some adults, because there's a little bit more strategy of trying to figure out which fly you want and really rack up those points. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoy it. Happy do some fly swatting. Get rid of those flies. Kill them. Get rid of them. They're nasty. Have a great day.